He was shot, stabbed, pierced with arrows, 20 wounds in total. Then in 1844, left for dead on a bloodied battlefield, Cicero Rufus Perry did the unthinkable. He walked 120 miles alone across hostile land to survive. Born in Alabama in 1822, Perry moved to Texas at 11 and quickly found himself in the thick of violent clashes, fighting in the Siege of Behar, skirmishes along Yegwa Creek, and battling native tribes as a Texas Ranger. His wounds tell a story of relentless grit, but that 120-mile trek stands as a testament to a willpower most could hardly imagine. It wasn't just a miraculous escape. It was the raw edge of survival. Perry, bleeding and unarmed, without food or water, staggered through rugged terrain from Uvalde to San Antonio, refusing to give up when even his comrades thought he was gone. But his story didn't end there. Years later, Perry still fought, surviving battles like Deer Creek in 1873. Rising through the ranks, he became captain of Company D, leading men who revered him for his unyielding spirit and battlefield savvy. His life was a quiet legend, known not for riches or fame, but for resilience that inspired those who rode beside him. By the time he passed away in 1898, in the rugged Texas Hill Country, Perry's name had become a whispered legend among rangers. Yet outside of history's dusty pages, how many know his story? How many could imagine walking that brutal 120 miles, wounded, alone, and desperate for the mere chance to live? Cicero Perry's journey forces us to ask, what would you have done when left for dead?
She gave him 10 children. She buried 3 of them with her own hands. She crossed the ocean with him, stayed by his side through fame and struggle, and kept a busy household running. And yet, Catherine Hogarth, the wife of Charles Dickens, was pushed aside, blamed, and forgotten. Dickens, praised as a great writer of the Victorian era, called her fat, lazy, jealous, and dull. He even shared their private troubles with the public, writing a letter that made him look like the victim. The world felt sorry for him. Few felt sorry for her. But who wouldn't be tired after 10 pregnancies? Who wouldn't gain weight or grieve deeply after burying children? Catherine was not weak, she was strong. She kept going. Her marriage ended not because of her, but because Dickens fell in love with a much younger actress, Ellen Ternan. Divorce was nearly impossible at the time, so Catherine was made the one to blame. Dickens even built a wall inside their house to keep her apart from him. One day, Catherine put on her hat, walked out the door, and never returned. She lost her children, her home, and her place in society. Before she died, her only wish was for the love letters Dickens once wrote her to be published, to show the world she had been loved. That wish was never granted. But her story still lives. Catherine Dickens was not a burden. She was a survivor.
A woman named Colla married a stingy cloth merchant. One day, he bought a chicken and asked her to cook it. While they were having dinner, they heard a knock on the door. The husband opened the door and found a poor man asking for some food. The husband refused to give him anything, shouted at him harshly, and threw him out. He closed the door in his face and went back to his food. Colla asked, "Why did you close the door like that in the face of the beggar?" He angrily said, "And what did you want me to do?" She replied, "You could have given him a piece of the chicken, or said a kind word to him." He ate his chicken and went to his shop. He found that a fire had consumed all the cloth. The man returned to his wife saddened and said to her, "The fire has reduced the shop to ashes, and I now have nothing." Colla said, "Do not despair of God's mercy." He told her, "Go to your father's house. I can't provide for you." He divorced her without her knowledge. 2 years later, Colla married Matham al-Kufi, who was known among the people for his generosity and kindness. One day, she was having dinner with her husband when there was a knock at the door. She got up to see who was knocking and returned. She said to her husband, "There is a beggar complaining of severe hunger." Her husband said, "Give him one of these 2 chickens. One is enough for us. We will not disappoint those who seek our help." Colla took the chicken to give to the beggar, then returned to her husband to finish dinner, tears filling her eyes. He asked her, "What makes you cry?" She replied, "I am crying because the beggar is my first husband." He said, "If the beggar who knocked on our door was your first husband, then by God, I was the first beggar."